thing that makes you feel like you've got some degree of control. Somebody doing that for you means that you feel like you've got no control. So it's, if you are playing with people who cheat, find some other people to play with, I think is the best bit of advice I could give. But the answer is we roll our own dice and apply that.
I was watching a stream recently and I saw that it had been groyped, and I had some thoughts on the matter. The first thing there were some good points associated with this groyp. The subject matter of the stream was historical miniature wargaming, more specifically how to operate it remotely due to COVID restrictions. This might seem very dull and boring, but if even a stream like that is being groyped, then the groypers must be everywhere and the message must be spreading far and wide. Incidentally, this was a UK stream, and the groypers were British, and they were talking about patriotic alternative. Another good point is the audience. The kinds of people who are into wargaming are, in some ways, ideal candidates for being groyped. They're almost all men, they're almost all white, and they're slightly autistic, which sounds just like the core demographic of the dissident right at the moment. At the same time, there were some bad points. The first was that the groyp was far too aggressive. The audience who watch those kinds of streams and who take part in wargaming, they like to build miniatures and build scenery and paint them and read the rules and work out modifiers when they're rolling dice and so on, and use tape measures to move their armies around the table. You know, they are thoughtful people, they like subtlety, they like painstaking attention to detail. They like things that are calm and gentle. And so, for people to groyp in a manner that is not calm or gentle feels like an attack, and that's what happened in this case, I think. The groypers came and they were spamming the chat. Their messages were coming too thick and fast, I felt. They were using meme language, such as the orcs are invading Middle-earth, as a reference to immigration. It was just too... It was like coming into a library and shouting. It doesn't matter what you're shouting, people want you to leave, and they're not going to listen to you. Therefore, I think that the groypers should watch the content that they're going to groyp before they groyp it, to get an idea for what the target audience is and what their sensibilities might be, and whether or not they'll respond better to a high-energy groyp or a low-energy groyp. Therefore, I would suggest wording something like this instead. The message would start with, sorry to butt in, I am concerned with certain political issues in the UK that the major political parties seem happy to ignore. A group called Patriotic Alternative seem happy to address them. I am here to raise awareness for this group. It might be of interest. With a message like that, you're acknowledging that you're off topic, and maybe you don't belong in the chat, but you're here to do a job. It's nothing personal. Take it or leave it. And so you deliver that message, and then you go away for a few minutes. And you let them either take notice or not take notice, and then you come back a few minutes later in case anybody missed it. You're not overwhelming their chat. You're not interrupting them too much. It's just a little nudge every few minutes. The message is gentle, and the pace of the message and the frequency with which it appears is gentle. And I think that would appeal far better to a wargaming audience than the groyp that was actually attempted. I certainly would have preferred the gentler groyp, and I feel if I'm the kind of guy who watches those kinds of streams, and I am, then I'm probably in a position to comment on what kind of groyp would work or not work. Obviously, for all I know, that groyp 2 months ago on that stream really did work, but I'd be very surprised if it did. And I think in future there ought to be low energy or medium energy or high energy groyps that are reserved for certain streams of certain subject matters that can simply be wheeled out. Because I think this particular groyp was a misfire, and that there was a failure to understand the audience, and it was probably counterproductive. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you.